Okay, so let's just get right into it. If you're a creator, you know this feeling. You see a new social media tool and it promises to save you tons of time, unlock your growth, you know the drill. But what really happens? Well, you usually end up with a mess of broken workflows, clunky features, and frankly, you just feel totally overwhelmed. So today, we're going to break down why so many of these tools are actually failing you, and more importantly, how you can start to choose the right one.
It's a really tough question, isn't it? We see it happen constantly. A creator is on fire, they're putting out incredible stuff, building a real community, and then, poof, they're gone. And you know what? It's almost never about a lack of passion or a lack of talent. It's usually something way more fundamental than that.
And this quote, man, it just nails the problem, right? It's not about that one viral video. It's about showing up day in, day out. Consistency is literally the engine that powers your growth. But let's be real, if it was that simple, everybody would be doing it. So why is it so incredibly hard to keep up? Well, a huge part of the problem, ironically, comes from the very tools that are supposed to be helping us. So this leads us right to the first big problem, what I like to call the all-in-one trap. It's this super tempting idea that one single platform can just magically solve every single problem you have as a creator. It sounds amazing, but in reality, it often ends up causing more headaches than it cures. See, here's the thing you have to get. Most of these big old school platforms were never ever built for you, the solo creator. They were designed for huge marketing agencies with whole teams of people dedicated to different roles. So for an individual or a small team, it just feels like this confusing, overly complicated system that gets in the way of the one thing that actually matters, creating and publishing content consistently. So what this all means is that the failures are basically baked right into their DNA. You're stuck with these workflows that don't talk to each other, so you're manually copying and pasting everything. The pricing is built for a corporation, not a creator, and the features you really need, like smooth cross-posting to all your channels, they're either missing or they're just clunky and barely work. The whole thing values complexity over the one thing you actually need, which is consistency. Okay, so if that old model is totally broken, what's the answer? Well, it's time to stop looking for that one magic tool that does everything. Instead, we need to shift our focus to building a system, a workflow that helps us achieve one thing perfectly, consistency, because that is your real path to growth. This right here, this is a huge mindset shift. Burnout happens when you just try to force it, when you just tell yourself, I gotta post more. But sustainable, real growth, that comes from designing a smart, seamless, and repeatable workflow, a system that actually works for you instead of you constantly fighting against it. So what does a system like that actually look like? Well, you can really break it down into four key parts. Of course, it starts with your plan and your amazing content. But then, and this is the absolute game changer, you automate the boring, repetitive stuff, like scheduling and cross-posting, because that frees up all your time and energy to focus on the part that really matters the most, genuinely engaging with that community that you're working so hard to build. All right, so we get it. A solid workflow, that's the goal. But how in the world do you pick the right tools to get you there? Well, this means we need a totally new way of thinking about it, a new framework that's built from the ground up for what creators actually need today. This slide just lays it all out, plain and simple. On the left, you've got the old way. Complexity, crazy high costs, and just endless manual work. And on the right, you have the new creator-first approach, smart automation, streamlined workflows, and tools that are actually on your team. So when they're looking at a new tool, ask yourself, does this thing actually automate my posting across all my channels? Is the price fair for someone like me or for a giant company? And does it make my life simpler or is it just adding more steps? And listen, this isn't just some theory. Look at an artist like Monte Mater. By building her entire system around a streamlined, automated workflow, she's not stuck in the mud dealing with the daily grind of posting everywhere. And what does that mean? It means she has more time and energy for her actual art and for connecting with her audience, all while her social media consistency is just handled automatically in the background. Now, of course, we can't talk about the future of creating content without talking about AI. There's so much hype out there, and let's be honest, a lot of fear too. But if you have the right philosophy, AI can be an unbelievable partner for creators, not something that's here to replace you. When you really boil it down, AI is this incredible tool for figuring out what works, for helping you tweak your content for every single platform, and for automating that whole distribution process on a scale that's just, impossible for any one person to handle.
And this is probably the most important part of this whole conversation. All of that amazing technology is completely meaningless without the human element. Your creativity, your unique voice, your personality, your connection with your audience. That is the stuff AI can never, ever replicate. The real magic happens when you blend the two together.
This creator-first way of thinking about AI puts you right back in the driver's seat. Think of it like this. AI is your assistant, so you can focus on creating. AI can drive the automation, but you drive the strategy. And AI handles all the repetitive busy work, so you can handle what really matters, building real relationships with your followers. So let's just bring this all home. The goal here isn't just to find a tool to manage your social media. Honestly, that's thinking way too small. The real goal is to find a partner that unleashes your single most powerful weapon for growth, your own consistency. And that really leaves us with one last question for you to think about. I want you to take a really hard, honest look at your own process, at the tools you're using right now. Are they genuinely helping you be consistent, day in and day out? Or are they secretly adding all this complexity that's just leading straight to burnout? Because finding the answer to that question, well, it could change everything about your journey as a creator.